On Thursday, November 16, 1969, a young Muslim couple and their friend were discussing the challenges facing the Muslim community with regard to the education and development of Muslims in Nigeria. With the assassination of the Premier of the Northern Region and Sultan of Sokoto, Sir Ahmadu Bello, in January 1967, it appeared that the educational reforms which he had planned to initiate, such as bringing Quranic schools into mainstream education, had come to a halt. His death left a vacuum in the Muslim leadership. The young Muslim couple had sent a memo to the leading Muslim organization of the time, suggesting ways of improving the education of Muslims.
They received a letter of appreciation in response to their suggestions, but no further action had been taken. On that Thursday, as the trio were talking about the gaps in the Muslim education, the young lady asked, "Why don't we establish our own organization and do what we are urging others to do?" Their friend replied, "Why not?" And the man asked, "When?" Their friend replied, "Now."
Thus was the idea that birthed an institution whose impact would reach far into the coming decades and well beyond the borders of Nigeria. That institution is known today as the Islamic Education Trust, IET. The three people were its founding trustees: Alhaji Dr. Sheikh Ahmed Lemu, Hajiya B. Aisha Lemu, and Alhaji Sani Ashafa Suleiman.
On Friday, the 17th of November 1969, the day after their discussion, the organization was launched. Its aim was to educate Muslims and build their capacity to positively contribute to the holistic development of their communities. Its first office was Hajiya Aisha Lemu's kitchen store. It was agreed that the president would be Sheikh Ahmed Lemu, the general secretary would be Alhaji Sani Ashafa, and Hajiya Aisha Lemu would be the financial secretary.
They contributed enough money to employ their first member of staff. From these humble beginnings, the organization grew to stretch across the states of Nigeria to other countries in Africa and to other continents.
One of their first tasks was to ensure that all secondary schools, government and missionary schools in the then northwestern state had qualified teachers for Islamic religious studies, or Islamic religious knowledge as it was known at the time.
At that time, though, government allowed teaching of Islamic religious studies in schools, alongside Christian religious studies, there were no qualified teachers for teaching Islamic religious studies. Many parents, therefore, refused to send their children to school out of concern for their children's religious belief would be compromised. The resultant effect of that was an extremely high number of out-of-school Muslim children.
IET interviewed, trained and employed teachers who were then sent to various secondary schools within the region to teach Islamic religious studies. It was hoped that with the proper teaching of Islam in schools, students would graduate with an authentic understanding of Islam and the skills needed to engage positively with their environments.
Dr. Sheikh Ahmed Lemu also wrote another book with Alhaji Muhammad Wali, who was the first employee of IET. They wrote this book jointly in Hausa, and it was a book about Islam. It was used as a resource material for enlightening people about Islam.
These activities were largely funded by the founding trustees and were carried out quietly through its flagship program called the Dawah College. However, following the huge success recorded within a short period of time, it was able to get the support and blessings of people such as the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sa Abu Bakr III, and the military governor of the northwestern state, Alhaji Usman Farooq.
Over the years, other programs of the Islamic Education Trust have included annual seminars for Muslim undergraduates, women's classes, on-campus training, Dawah Mobile Corps, and a weekend school. As IET grew, certain changes were made, such as moving its headquarters from Sokoto to Mina, Niger State, in 1976, when Sheikh Ahmed Lemu was appointed the Grand Qadi of the Sharia Court of Appeal of the newly created Niger State. It also became necessary to set up departments, zonal coordinators, and branches to handle its expanding activities.
It has branches in Sokoto, Yola, Lagos, and Abuja, and program coordinators in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. It also set up 5 major departments, namely the General Administration and Resource Management Department, which was concerned with overseeing the overall running of the organization. This was the engine of the organization.
The Awqaf and Investments Department, which focuses on investments for the continued financial sustainability of the organization. The Human Welfare Department, which focuses on support for access to things such as healthcare, quality education for orphans, widows, the destitute, refugees, and others.
The Education Department, which manages schools set up by IET, such as the New Horizons Nursery and Primary School, Mina, the New Horizons College, Mina, and Sunrise International School, Abuja, as well as the Dawah Department, which is popularly known as the Dawah Institute of Nigeria, DIN.
The affairs of IET are currently under the custodianship of its Board of Trustees, which was increased from the original 3-member board to 7. They are Alhaji Sheikh Ahmed Lemu, Alhaji Muhammad Lawal Medoki, Alhaji Arizika Rimau, Justice Amina Wambai, Professor Kamaldin Balogun, Hajiya Hajara Adiola, and Alhaji Nuruddin Lemu. A core purpose of establishing the Islamic Education Trust rests with the Dawah Institute of Nigeria. To meet its primary objectives, the Dawah Institute of Nigeria developed resources and methods for the effective dissemination and application of the correct message of Islam.
The basic aims have been extended to include public enlightenment, the capacity building of other Islamic organizations and individuals involved in da'wah work, the capacity building also for better interfaith engagement and bridge building with people of other faiths for greater peaceful coexistence, the promotion and striving for greater social justice, especially for the more marginalized, the promotion of faith-based critical thinking tools of Islamic jurisprudence for a more sensible understanding of Islamic teachings, the prevention of violent extremism and building resilience against various forms of religious extremism, and of course the promotion of the rights of women in Islam.
IET's founding trustees formed many successful partnerships with like-minded Muslims, and from these partnerships, independent organizations have been established. Some of these are the Federation of Muslim Women's Association in Nigeria, FOM1, that works to improve the rights and conditions of women and children, the Association of Model Islamic Schools, AMIS, the Aisha Lemu Learning Initiative, ALI, that provides academic and vocational skills training for Al-Majiri and children from academically disadvantaged homes, the Dawah Coordination Council of Nigeria, DCCN, and the Development Initiative of West Africa, DIWA, which is involved in community development, welfare, and peace building in the West African region. From its humble beginnings in a kitchen store over 50 years ago, IET has grown into an organization whose activities and impact have stretched across every region in Nigeria to over 30 other countries in Africa and on other continents. In all, IET's work has been recognized nationally and globally, with many organizations partnering with it.
The impact that IET has had over time can be traced to the clear understanding that IET is a trust that must be preserved and passed on to future generations. This is the reason why at IET, the training of staff is prioritized, as well as staff welfare, succession planning, capacity building, and investment in staff. As we move into the future, IET will be increasing its use of new technologies to achieve its aims and objectives.
IET hopes to continue building upon the progress it has made so far by remaining committed to its values of God consciousness, learning, growth, consultation, collaboration, and seeking the common good of all. It plans to continue to connect, inform, inspire, and sustain, and continuously strive to put Allah first in everything.